Okay, good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the Town Board meeting for February 12, 2026. If you would all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the clerk please call roll?
Supervisor Dwyer?
Here.
Councilman Cole?
Here.
Councilman D'Angelo?
Here.
Councilman Manley?
Here.
Councilman Shuback?
Here. Okay, I make a motion that we accept the regular meeting minutes for January 29, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion that we pay all audited bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Correspondence is listed as addendum number 1. Is there any questions from the board or discussion on correspondence? Okay, we'll move right into reports of boards, beginning with Police Chief John Rader.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Once again, we want to give our compliments and thanks to DPW for not only keeping the roads clean, but also for their quick response to all the call-outs for the snow drifts. Their cooperation not only makes it easier for us to respond to calls, but it makes the roads safer, preventing more accidents and injuries. I'm not aware of any parking complaints on these last storms. So we also want to thank the residents for hearing our message over and over again about keeping these roads clear so they can get through. So we're all working together now. We received approval from the Village of Warwick for the use of Memorial Park on August 4th for National Night Out. The event is also registered on the national website. We're once again funding this year's event on a grant that we received from Senator Skoufis. We're going to begin planning and sending out the save the date to all of our local stakeholders in the very near future. All of our supervisors attended a leadership seminar yesterday that was sponsored by the Orange County Police Chiefs Association along with District Attorney Dave Hoovler. The class was taught by Andrew Murata, who is the former principal of Port Jervis High School. Courses such as this are extremely valuable to our supervisors and give them additional tools in their toolbox to better do their jobs. The police department wants to thank Jonathan Reyes and Hensley Caraballo from the City of Middletown Police Department for their donation of the newest version of the Guardian Translator. Both officers designed and produced this product. We purchased it when it first came out. We've had a lot of success using the first version when we encounter language barriers. The units that we currently carry translate 144 languages and dialects. This newer version has more user-friendly features and it includes a camera if needed. That concludes my report unless there's any questions from the board.
Questions?
Thank you.
DPW Commissioner Astorino.
As Chief Rader said, thank you again for the parking, getting residents off the road. It makes a huge difference for my men and women in the department while we're plowing snow. And the last storm, which we had on 2/6, which was a small storm, but then the wind came in behind it for 2 days and the drifts. So we were out continuously. We got out of here, I believe. We came in. It was Friday evening. We were there till early Saturday morning, and then the crews were in continuously to 5 p.m. Sunday evening. Plowing drifts. Then we did have some trees go down during that event also. We cleaned those up, and that Monday when we came back in, we shelved off a lot of the roads where the drifts were and pushed them back even more. We've been out and about in most of the subdivisions in the town of Warwick, removing snow and pushing it back where we can. We did have a water break on Treasure Lane, which we worked with the water department with to repair that. And we hauled sand salt mix over to Greenwood Lake, and we were out and about with cold mix, patching potholes, which I am sure when the weather warms up we'll have a lot more. And also our vehicle maintenance. It's been a long winter. The trucks have been taking a hit. Our mechanics have been on them continuously. Our fleet is completely up except one truck, which is in the shop right now, so we are not doing too bad. Any questions?
No, thank you. Water Sewer Deputy Commissioner McPherson.
Good evening, everyone. As you can imagine, the severe cold is never too friendly to the water business.
We've had about, over the past 2 weeks, we've had about 15 calls for frozen or burst pipes and leaking service lines and all of that. Mostly in the Greenwood Lake area. It has been colder than it's been in quite some time, but I would say just to heed caution for anyone that's leaving their home for the winter to have it shut off at the curb or make sure it's properly winterized, because some of the homes we saw were in rough shape. We had one frozen well line last Sunday morning at Hillside Water Plant. We were luckily able to get that thawed out without having to do anything major. That was actually a first for that plant to have a frozen well line. Saturday, January 31st, we responded to a water line break on Pine Island water system. Again, negative to low temps the night before. With the help of the DPW, we were able to get that leak isolated, keep the bulk of the system in water while we repaired that line. Also for Pine Island, we're continuing to go door to door to collect surveys. We're trying to qualify for some funding for some much needed upgrades for the water system. We're about 50% to our goal. We'll be out again Tuesday the 17th late afternoon to try and finish collecting our surveys. And that concludes my
Questions for Matt?
Yeah, I got a question. Besides, understand that, freezing temperatures will freeze a water line, but why does it just seem that more water mains break in the wintertime than in the summer?
In the winter, you get a lot of ground shifting.
Okay.
So when you have, that freezing and the ground shifts like that,
Yeah.
we don't see it as much when it gets super cold. It's when it starts to thaw out is when we'll see it a lot. When we have that really sub-cold temps and then you get like 30 or 40 within the next couple days, everything starts to shift. That's when we'll see, a lot of breaks.
Thanks.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
Russ, do you want to give the recreation report now or during your?
Well, I can give it now. I was asked to give the recreation report on Sam's behalf. First one is Winter Wiggle. Looks like the Winter Wiggle is going to be a fall event in November of 2026. It's been challenging to get a new date for the event based on the availability of the band, the Richard Stillman Band. Once we have the fall date, we'll let you know. Construction of the pools is still on hold due to all the snow, but planning and training are in full swing. Many of our returning lifeguards will be taking their recertification class or pro CPR next week at the Warwick Valley High School. They're looking for a few good dogs for their upcoming goose deterrent program. Once the ice melts, the geese will be coming back in the park in full force. We'll need a few good dogs to help us out. If you're interested, reach out to our recreation director. And lastly, we need your help on the survey. We just got over 300 folks that have taken the Parks and Recreation survey. We'd like to get those numbers up, so if you haven't taken it, please do so. If you took it already, please share it with your Warwick friends and family. Your feedback is important to us to help us shape the future of our parks. You can find the survey on the town's website under surveys, and also on the town's Facebook page, there's a link to the survey. And that's all that she has for that. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, Councilman D'Angelo, your report, please.
Okay, for the Humane Society, in February is recognized as Responsible Pet Ownership Month, reminding all new and not new pet owners to be responsible for the care of their pets who depend on it. All dogs and cats and rabbits should be spayed and neutered. All dogs, cats, and ferrets are required to be up to date on their rabies vaccinations, and all dogs must be licensed with the town clerk in the town in which they reside. February is Adopt a Rabbit Month. The shelter has 13 rabbits available for adoption. Please submit our small pet adoption application from their website at wvhumane.org if you are a rabbit-loving family. Shelters are always in need of specific supplies in caring for about 200 homeless cats, dogs, rabbits, roosters, and parakeets. They need paper towels, assorted size paper plates, bleach, pate-style canned cat food, Merrick's or Natural Balance canned dog food, and 13 and 30-gallon unscented garbage bags. That's all I have for the Humane Society. For the Friendly Visitor Program for the month of January, the number of neighbors assisted was 32. The number of volunteers assisting those neighbors was 31. The total number of services provided by volunteers is 291. And the total number of hours provided by those volunteers was 182. And those volunteers are doing a really great job. That's all I have.
Thank you. We're also doing a volunteer appreciation event for the volunteers of the Friendly Visitor Program on Friday, February 27th at 10 a.m., and that will be in the Wickham Woodlands Manor House.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Cole, your report, please.
Thank you. One thing I have here is coming up, mark your calendars. March 21st, down at the State Park down in Sterling Forest, the Visitor Center. It's going to be Warwick Day down at the Visitor Center from March 21st from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. They're going to have live presentations. They're going to have traveling forge. You're going to have a chance to see the link again. And it's going to be a day full of activities and reenactments that will commemorate the fact that the chain was made and forged that crossed the Hudson River during the Revolutionary War, was made and forged in the town of Warwick. And last week I had the opportunity to go to Goshen to meet with the county historian and the Tourist Association to see what all the towns were doing for the 250th. And it seems that only Warwick has any kind of activities going on. And I would commend our historian, Sue Gardner, for being the impetus of this. She's really been inspiring to everyone here to try to do something to celebrate the 250th. It just shouldn't go by. There's not going to be another one. So I'm glad she's working very hard on this, and she put a lot of her own time and spirit into it. So I would commend her on that. And that's all I have.
Sue's doing a great job. Russ, so are you. Great committee. You guys are doing some really good things and keeping Warwick on the map, especially with the 250th. So great job. All right, Councilman Mattingly, your report, please.
Thank you, Supervisor. Tuesday, February 17th is Mardi Gras for a Cause, Fat Tuesday. This great event supports Backpack Snack Attack. Food and drink specials start at 6 p.m. and live music starts at 7 p.m. So the way this works is some of the great bands in the Warwick Valley and beyond come to many of our restaurants and taverns. They play from 7 to 9 p.m. Rather than taking payment, the payment that would normally have gone to the bands is donated directly to Backpack Snack Attack. There are 15 different restaurants and taverns in the town of Warwick who are participating. You can check out mardigras.com for the schedule. The music starts at 7 p.m. at all of the locations, ends at 9, and then there's a after-hours event starting at 10 p.m. at Village Billiards. It's a great event for a great cause. Also, there's an espresso mixer for the Warwick Valley Chamber of Commerce at Sublime Aesthetics, 13 Forester Avenue, Suite 2. In Warwick. Please join us at Sublime Aesthetics and Wellness for an espresso mixer, mingle, network, and make new friends and enjoy tasty treats and coffee while exploring what this amazing business has to offer. For updates at the Florida Chamber of Commerce, please visit floridanychamber.com/events. For Pine Island, pineislandnewyork.com/events. And for the Village of Greenwood Lake Chamber of Commerce, gwlnychamber.com/events. And that is my report this evening, Supervisor.
Great, thank you. Councilman Schuback, your report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Just because it's doesn't seem like the snow is going to melt anytime soon, if anyone lives in one of the villages and has a fire hydrant near them, I would recommend shoveling that out just in case there's a fire, so the firemen could get there and use it, because minutes make a big difference in that situation. So that's the only thing I would like to respond to.
Great, thank you. Clerk Astorino.
The fees collected for the month of January were $25,555.19, and the fees paid out were $3,625.90. We have a bid proposal for the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning services at the town of Warwick. The first was from Day Heating and Air Conditioning, Inc. Their proposal was $14,250 for annual maintenance. Stark Tech Services, LLC, their proposal was $7,177 for annual maintenance. Alpine Air Heating and Air Conditioning, LLC, was a proposal for $3,600 for annual maintenance. And AMI Services, Inc. was a proposal of $5,550 for annual maintenance as described in their RFP. All of these have the same. Also, I just wanted to let people know that the clerk's office is going to be planning their annual retention for records. We're looking for March 17th and 19th to possibly be closed. We're not sure, we're working on it, but I just want to make sure everybody gets their official business done, you know, because we don't want anybody to come in if they don't, you know, if we're not here. We're in the building. If it's an emergency, you just get somebody to come down and get us. But we do plan on closing the office for those 2 days to get our annual retention records done.
Thank you. Just a point of note, we saved about 40% by going out to bid from our previous HVAC contractor, so it's good, time well spent. Okay, so right now we're working hard on a lot of design work for our upcoming infrastructure projects that we have planned for the year. Many things are in design, including Mountain Lake Park Phase 2, the wastewater system for Mountain Lake Park, Union Quarters water system. We're working on a town feasibility study for solar on our buildings. We're also in the design phase for the Wickham Sewer Project, which is grant-funded, Jane Street Bridge, which is also grant-funded. Deputy Commissioner McPherson mentioned the Pine Island Water, doing the income survey, but we're also, I'd say, this close to getting that well online. We crossed a very major hurdle with a waiver for an easement, so we were told that we'd have to have an easement on a neighboring property. We were able to appeal that, and we were granted a successful waiver so that we no longer have to have an easement going across their property. So that saves us time and money, and we're in the final stretch for that well, so that will be much needed. The Village of Greenwood Lake, which we're partnering with the Town of Warwick since it's on town property, but the Village of Greenwood Lake is spearheading an incredible pump track that they're going to be building through grant funding that we've secured over the last number of years, and it's going to be at Winstanley Park. So they are in the design phase of that pump track. That's going to be, I would say, the best pump track in the entire Hudson Valley. So look forward to seeing some great details coming out of that. The Town of Warwick is going to be applying for a New York State TAP grant for trail improvements at Wickham Woodlands Park. This is the park that's located off State School Road right around Wickham Lake. The old prison property. You'll notice many people are walking around this area, but there's no real safe space for them to walk and have vehicles traveling on the same roadways. So we're going to be applying for a New York State grant to make trail improvements and possibly sidewalks and make that entire area much more walking friendly. And that grant is going to be submitted within the next 2 weeks. The Town of Warwick is going through a transportation safety action plan in partnership with each of our villages, the Village of Greenwood Lake, Florida, and Warwick. We hosted an in-person planning meeting right here in Town Hall last week, and each of the villages will host their own unique individual planning meeting that is open to the public. The Village of Greenwood Lake will have their meeting on March 7th at 10 a.m. The Village of Florida will have their meeting on March 7th also, but at 2 p.m., and the Village of Warwick will have their meeting on the Transportation Safety Action Plan on March 10th at 6 p.m. The Town of Warwick is considering what is called an anti-tethering law. This law is to prevent the maintaining of dogs on leashes, which right now in the state of New York, municipalities have an option to create anti-tethering laws. We have instances where dogs are being chained up on leashes that are less than 6 feet. The Town of Warwick is considering a law that will protect dogs in this case and prevent them from being chained up overnight outside on leashes such as the one that we found recently that we're trying to avoid. So we will share with you hopefully a proposed law for our next meeting that we will introduce and will be subject to a public hearing. I also wanted to update the board and the public on our current plans for PDR. This is the purchase of development rights and the preservation of land within the Town of Warwick. The Town of Warwick is planning on closing on 2 farms within the next couple of months, which will total 180 acres of preserved land. We were just recently approved not long ago for 62 acres of new farmland that will be preserved. The town board is submitting 4 applications for preservation in this spring round of funding that will total 378 acres of newly preserved land, and we have 170 acres under consideration right now. So we have about 9 different parcels that the town board and I are currently working on preserving within the town of Warwick. So the PDR program is going very strong and supporting the comprehensive plan for the town, and look forward to updating the board on progress as it is made. That concludes my report. We will move on to privilege of the floor on any agenda items. I doubt there are any. We'll go right into new business, addendum number 4.
Motion to adopt a resolution to designate Jesse Dwyer, the Town of Warwick Supervisor, as voting delegate to attend the New York State Association of Towns Annual Business Session, February 17th, 2026, and to cast the vote of the Town of Warwick pursuant to Section 6 of Article 3 of the Constitution and bylaws of said association.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to appoint Dawn Case as a full-time dial bus, grade 5, dial bus driver, grade 5, step 1, at a rate of pay of $25.64 per hour as per the CSEA contract effective February 21st, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to adopt a resolution to appoint Jean Gassaway as a part-time dial-a-bus driver at a rate of pay of $23.50 per hour, effective February 15th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to notify the New York State Office of Court Administration that on January 28th, 2026, the Town of Warwick's Comptroller, in conjunction with the town's Audit Committee, audited the Justice Court's records and dockets as required by Section 2019A of the Uniform Justice Court Act of 2025 calendar year, and found these records were all in good order.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to adopt a resolution granting permission to the following applicants to serve alcohol at Town of Warwick parks and rental facilities. The applicants have filed a certificate of liability and liquor liability in the town clerk's office. The applicant is Eliud Robledo at Wickham Woodland Park on March 14th, 2026, May 2nd, 2026, and June 6th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to refund the remaining escrow of $3,174 back to Chris Canadino, situated at tax parcel SBL-23-2-54.4 for property located at 65 Four Corners Road. The project has been withdrawn as per letter dated December 8th, 2025 from the planning board secretary.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to adopt the following resolution. Whereas the Town of Warwick, a New York municipal corporation, manages real property known as the Greenwood Lake Cemetery, located at Old Dutch Hollow Road, Greenwood Lake, and whereas the Eagle Scout candidate, Anthony Apuzzo, a member of the Boy Scout Troop 121, has requested permission from the Town of Warwick to perform beautification work at the cemetery to include marking the graves of veterans with grave markers, repairing the broken fence, and installing new benches, which is known as the project. And whereas the project appears to constitute a Type 2 action, as said in the quoted term is defined in the regulations, and therefore it appears that no further determination or procedure under New York State Quality Review Act, the SECRA, is required in respect to the project. Now therefore it be resolved by the members of the Town Board of the Town of Warwick as follows. 1, the Town Board of the Town of Warwick hereby authorizes Eagle Scout candidate Anthony Apuzzo and the Boy Scout Troop 121 to proceed with the project. 2, to the extent required, the Town of Warwick hereby waives any building department, building permits, or inspection fees required in connection with the project. 3, Boy Scout Troop 121 shall provide evidence of liability insurance, naming the Town of Warwick as an additional insured before commencing any work. 4, pursuant to Section 617.5, Section C2, and 617.5, Section C25 of the regulations, the project is a Type 2 action, as said quoted from the term defined in SECR, and therefore the town hereby determines that no environmental impact statement or any other determination or procedure is required under the regulations.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the 2026-2027 Land Stewardship Agreement between the Town of Warwick and the Orange County Land Trust.
Second.
And just a comment, because this isn't very clearly written, but this is for PDR monitoring. And we contract with the Orange County Land Trust to monitor every single preserve farm that we have in place. What they do is they go and they do thorough inspections. They bring each of the easement documents and make sure that the farms and properties are complying with all of the easement terms. And if there are any structures that are built, any things that are changed, they would report back to the town board and let us know that any action needs to be taken. So it's a great program that's offered at a great price, and it is essential to continuing our PDR program. All in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion to adopt a resolution granting approval to the Friends of the Hathorn House to host a special event and to close Hathorn Road from the westerly bound cemetery, Morehouse property, to the corner of County Route 1 on May 17, 2026, from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. for purposes of hosting a special educational living history event for Founder's Day. Application and certificate of insurance are on file in the clerk's office.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to amend R 2025-300, authorizing the supervisor to sign an agreement with Bloodhound Ground Penetration Radar to locate all private utilities, water, sewer, and electric lines at Mountain Lake Park from $4,944 to $12,883.25.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion authorizing the town to solicit funds for the renovation of the Town of Warwick Police Department. Specifications for the bids can be found on the town's website, townofwarwick.gov. A mandatory pre-bid walkthrough of the site will be held on Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026, at 10 a.m. All sealed bids must be received by Tuesday, March 13th, 2026, by 3 p.m., at which time these proposals will be opened and read aloud. All bidding shall be subject to the provisions of the General Municipal Law of the State of New York as amended, and the town board reserves the right to accept a proposal that it considers to be in the best interest of the town of Warwick.
Second.
And this is just for the grant-funded renovations to our police department, the much-needed renovations. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to approve the Canada Geese Harassment Program, a volunteer dog walker program to combat the geese population at the Thomas P. Morahan Waterfront Park and Mountain Lake Park to begin March 1st, 2026 to November 30th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to authorize the supervisor to execute necessary payments for vehicle repairs and rental to a damaged vehicle related to a storm cleanup on January 29, 2026, not to exceed $7,000.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to refund $1,000 back to Michael Cray, Craftify Holdings LLC, for a canceled building permit as per date, letter dated February 9th, 2026, from the building inspector.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to approve Alpine Air Heating and Air Conditioning LLC as the town's HVAC contractor at a rate of $3,600 for annual maintenance as submitted in the bid proposal.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to adopt the following resolution, 617.6, State Environmental Quality Review Resolution, assuming lead agency, adopting a Part 2 EAF. Name of action is Highway 3 LLC. Whereas on November 3rd, 2025, the board of the Town of Warwick noticed its intent to declare lead agency to all identified agencies and has since received no objections. Therefore, be it resolved, the planning board hereby assumes lead agency status and shall proceed with the preparation of a full environmental assessment form Part 2.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's going to be a roll call vote.
Supervisor Dwyer?
Aye.
Councilman Cole?
Aye.
Councilman Zubak?
Aye.
Councilman D'Angelo.
Aye.
Councilman Manley.
Aye.
This is,
Record show 5 ayes, 0
this is what we call passing the football onto the planning board. Ben, it's now yours. That, just so you know, you guys know, this is the commercial property we talked about on Kings Highway. So we're gonna have the professionals related to the planning board do all the review on the environmentals on that. Okay, now we'll have privilege of the floor on any general topic. Yes? Yes, so bids can be found on the actual website for the Town of Warwick, which is townofwarwickny.gov. Thank you, Bonnie. Anyone else? No? Okay. The next town board meeting will be Thursday, February 26th at 7 PM. And as always, it may be preceded by a workshop as early as 5:30 PM. I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming, everybody.